Oh, well, there you go. That's perfect timing. As soon as we started, Sean's laptop goes and dings, and so that tells me that we were right on time. And now he's muted it. Hey, everybody. My name's Jamie. I look after voice in the Skype for Business marketing organization.
I'm Sean Wilson. I handle deployment and operations in the Skype for Business marketing organization as well. And so we're here today to talk about E5 trials and some of the new features. And really, I think today what it really was is one of the challenges we've realized is that a lot of people out there keep hearing us talk about E5. And hey, you should take advantage of this, or you should do this. And then they realize, well, but I've already got a tenant.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of times, the folks that we know we're talking to, we've actually met a bunch of you out at the Worldwide Partner Conference and some other shows that we've had recently. And so a lot of folks, we're using Office 365. We love your broadcast. And it's true. A lot of times we talk about the kind of new bright shiny objects, a lot of which are included in E5, Cloud PBX, the PSTN conferencing stuff. We spent a bunch of time talking about these E5 services, and then it kind of makes sense. Like, oh well, let's talk about how you get there, or what's the kind of easy, kind of straightforward way for you to go and try out some of the stuff that we're talking about.
Excellent. There's a couple things though that we wanted to do. One thing, the Bing Pulse is there today. We do apologize. Q&A manager didn't actually get in this morning, so use Yammer to. If you have questions afterwards, please feel free to ping us on the group on Yammer or network.office.com.
We've been trying to hang out at this new Office 365 community space at network.office.com. And this is essentially where we're going to be kind of keeping the dialogue going that we started up in the Yammer group. So if you've been in the Yammer group for a while and you haven't checked out network.office.com, please do come over there.
Actually, there's a URL to get you directly to the Skype for Business.
Fancy.
aka.ms/SfB community.
SfB community.
Perfect. So aka.ms, just like you joined the broadcast. SfB community.
Perfect.
And that'll take you right to the Skype for Business page, and you'll see a bunch of updates. It's in preview right now. We have a big launch right around Ignite that's coming for that. So you'll see some information coming from us to help transition you over, because it's going to give you a great opportunity to see some information that's just publicly available, and then also some special stuff for you to kind of dig in. Potentially, like one of the things that we've always wanted to do is be able to provide our decks after these sessions.
Yes.
This will give us a landing page. You'll also have a schedule of what we're actually going to be broadcasting coming forward.
Wait. So that means that we will have to planfully think ahead and actually articulate what we're going to. Wow, that's big.
Yeah,
that's really big.
Yeah. And the biggest reason for that and is because we talk about listening to our communities is if even our field sellers and our TAMs and talking to partners, they're like, hey, I've got all these customers that love watching your show, but they can't. They need to be able to plan for what they want to do.
I literally had somebody internally who looks after some of our partner communities here in the US email me about this yesterday. I just got back in the office from a little vacation, and I was trolling through the bazillion emails. She's like, hey, I really like this thing you did about hunt groups and call queues, and boy, we've got a bunch of questions on some of the other stuff that's coming up. When are you going to have those? It's like, oh, well, yes, at some point in the future.
And so we are formalizing actually what it's going to look like for a calendar so that you can actually plan 2 or 3 sessions out. So, excellent. Well, let's talk a little bit more about Admin Center. And one of the things I wanted to show.
Sean has his laptop open. He's ready to demo, baby.
Yeah, today is a demo day. So one of the pieces of feedback we got was don't use Zoom it. So we're not going to use Zoom it. So
okay.
Blow your screen up to full screen so you get the full experience.
And I'm responsible for switching back and forth. So yes, you will still have to tolerate our faces.
Yeah. So one of the things we wanted to show you real quick was there's the new user interface for the admin center. And one of the reasons, it didn't switch over to me as active video.
That's okay. No worries.
Yeah.
I've got it.
Excellent.
We are moving the active video over to Sean's workstation.
Excellent.
All right.
So one of the things that I wanted to show you, because this is some of the new stuff that we've actually launched this year. Okay. We're hoping that it launches this year in the demo, because it keeps bouncing back to us. So we're gonna keep working on this one. But what we're actually what we've done is we've incorporated some of the key pieces within the admin center that becomes a little bit more admin friendly, maybe for someone that's not a heavy duty PowerShell old school admin, and gives you some great things like right here in the center, you can see some videos on how to. We also have the message center, which is now more predominant. It's a way for us to communicate. You can see there's actually one here that we launched earlier this week in here on the new feature, video-based screen sharing, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. Yep. But the one I wanted to show you is down here under reports. And the reason that I want to show you the reports is because one of the biggest things that we've been able to do with this modernization is really start to drive in to understanding the activity that you're seeing within your tenant. And it goes all the way across from OneDrive for Business to SharePoint to everything else.
Okay, so hold on. But in this tenant, you had to configure all this stuff and set it up and like define the reports and all. Oh, so all of this is just
this is out of the box.
So okay, well, so hold on, so step back. So like, did you do any configuration in any of this for this tenant?
I assigned users and licenses and let them go and play.
Cool.
And therefore, all of their usage information is now in the actual tenant.
Excellent.
Now, here's the best part. It exists for E1, E3, and E5.
Oh, and actually, that's one of the questions that we have out on the Bing Pulse. If you get a chance to also check out the Bing Pulse, please don't hesitate. We love getting feedback. We love hearing about the folks that are out there on what your license usage is with the different stuff you're using us for. So please continue to pay attention to us and continue to look at the Bing Pulse. All right, so this is awesome. These reports are phenomenal.
Now one of the things is you're like, oh, great. So I've got this report and it shows me that activity is 13. I'm going to explain it. This is a demo tenant that we use on occasion for shows and stuff. If I happen to move this back a couple months, you will actually see, if I went back 90 days, you will see when we have had conferences.
Well, indeed, there's a lot of activity back there.
Did anybody notice how fast that just populated from 30 days to 90 days and now to 180 days?
That's excellent.
That's
fantastic.
That not only gives you that capability, it also gives you the ability, if you happen to be one of the people like me that likes crunching into the numbers and playing with it, you can export this into a CSV Excel so that you can then go and start to really go and how many people are peer-to-peer versus organizing conferences versus participating in those conferences.
I already predict a request for a future session where we show how to tie all of this data into some Power BI. I'm already predicting that's already somebody is already typing that into Yammer and Office 365.
And there's actually some work to do that later this year.
Oh, cool. Yeah. All right, nice.
Also, just so you know, for those that are the PowerShell guys, you actually can get QoE and CDR data. Now it's actually in the message center, the information. Yep. You can go and get QoE and CDR data for a user in Skype for Business Online.
Excellent, excellent.
The one thing also here is this shows activity. It also shows the breakdown by users, right? So you can really dig in and look at it at a specific user and drive to figure out if it's got the right information you're looking for. So that was kind of our intro to the admin center. Let's see if we can get back to us for a minute on video.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. This is what it did before, and then it was like, no, sorry, you still have to. You still have to stay on the. All right, so I think we're fine.
You do realize we've been doing this for almost a year.
I have. In fact, I noticed in our notes that we have a 1 year show that we should probably do here pretty soon.
Yeah, I think we're doing it right before Ignite.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like literally the Friday before Ignite. So we'll keep you posted on what that's going to be. But let's get back to the topic. E1, E3, E5. You know, we all at Microsoft, you know, everything's about the SKU. It's all about we label these things in the way that we bundle packages and we give them titles like E1, E3, E5. Fundamentally, though, it's really the level of package that you're getting. So E1 is you're getting all of those online services, but you're not getting the client in that purchase.
And in fact, one of the things that we've talked about in the past, and that I think we should reiterate, is that all of the great facility that we're using to create this broadcast is in fact available in E1. Yeah, which is just outstanding, right? So anybody in any organization can do this level of capability with this broadcast based out of E1. But yeah, essentially E1 is like E1 is all the online services, but not necessarily all the clients, right?
Yeah, because a great example might be a customer that has a lot of customization in their office, like for Excel, like line of business apps. They're not at the point of rewriting those to go to, 2016. They might be on 2013. Right? Mm-hmm. So in those cases, sometimes they've decoupled them. Really, though, moving to the Office 365 Pro Plus, which is what you get when you get E3. You get all of E1 Plus, then you get the Pro Plus. Really, that you get that client, the full set of client, but you get all those great features, and you can take them from deferred channel or early release or break it out between users. But we've had E3, which includes online meetings, it includes IMM presence. You have the ability to add PSTN conferencing to it as an add-on, but then there's E5, and E5 is when we really took our online meeting and voice, or meetings and voice, I'd say to the next level. Now E5 has some great analytics and some amazing security features like ATP and things like that. For
ATP is
the advanced threat protection.
Very good. Okay.
It's in Exchange, and it helps with removing phishing attacks and things like that. But the big value that we see our customers really driving to as part of that bundle is the PSTN conferencing.
Absolutely.
And the cloud PBX.
Absolutely. So in E3, you get all of the meetings capabilities in Skype for Business, except the ability to dial into a meeting, to be able to dial into a conference, which is still a very really common way that folks join into meetings. And so with E3, I can have Skype meetings over the web. I can have Skype meetings using the rich clients. I can have Skype meetings using mobile. But if I'm just stuck with a kind of plain vanilla telephone, or I need to go and join somebody from out there in the world over the PSTN and bring them into my meeting over the public switch phone network, actually have just their phone number and then dial that back in to my meeting. That capability is included in E5. That is one of the
flat rate, unlimited use for
exactly
dialing, right?
And that's a significantly different way to think about this workload than what I think most customers are kind of using today for dial-in conferencing or for dial-in meetings.
They have them as two separate entities. A lot of customers have, they go to telco X or provider X, and they pay per minute for dial-in conferencing, and they give everybody their PIN and a bridge number.
And so I can totally understand that if you're listening to us and you have E1 or you have E3 and you're like, yeah, we're doing that today, we're using a telco, and we give everybody a bridge number and a PIN, and yeah, it works. No, it's not hooked up with Skype, and that's kind of a bummer. But I don't really know if this really makes sense for us to take this leap. Here's the way you can test it out, then you can take that leap comfortably and see what it's like to have this integrated PSTN conferencing experience with your tenant.
Should we show them how to trial it?
Yeah,
let's do it.
All right, so
bring me over.
So Sean's all up and ready here, so we're gonna flip over to his workstation. So again, for those of you that are not on E5 and you want to go and check it out, this is literally click for click how you would go and do that.
Yeah. So what I've got here, just as an example, is this is actually a demo tenant that we set up. So it is a trial, but it's a trial for, it's an E3, right? Well, but with E3, I don't get PSTN conferencing. I don't get that capability. So what I actually can do is I can come over here and I click, you can see that I'm over on the little manager subscriptions billing tab. And as I come in, I can come down here to purchase services. Is it switching back and forth on us, or
nope, we're good.
Excellent.
I just wanted to open it up a little bit so we could see your.
Excellent.
I could see what you're doing.
So right now you can see I'm in trial and I can buy it. I got 27 days left, but I don't want to do that. I really want to come over here and I want to trial E5.
Perfect.
So there's a button there. It says start free trial.
Let's bring it up.
And as it turns, it says try now. And my order receipt is done. I now have 25 E5 licenses for the next month.
Boy, that took forever.
Oh my God. Wait. Did we actually create a simple ordering process? Now, there is something that you have to do though at this point.
Okay, so now you've had your existing tenant. You just added in the E5 trial, and everyone you saw how you could add in that E5 trial. So now you have the licenses essentially in your tenant, right? But you've got to be able to assign them to users.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. See this button, licenses, same place in billing.
Okay.
Okay, come into licenses. It now shows that I have E3 and E5.
Nice. There you go.
Okay, but I want to assign now these licenses. This is the reason for doing this, and the reason this is so important is because we want to be able to give those users the capability to have the PSTN conferencing and those advanced features, right?
Well, exactly. So you've brought the licenses into your tenant, but of course, we want to be able to give to the IT pro the ability to choose who are the specific folks within your organization that are going to take advantage of that license, right? So you have licenses affinitized to users uniquely, and of course you may have some folks in your organization who for whatever reason you're just going to give E1 to them, and other folks in the organization are going to give E5 to them. So this is the facility to do that. Okay,
and in
great.
this case, we want to give everybody conferencing, right? So we come down here, and I have the over here. I click on it, and it has the ability to edit product licenses. Do you see that?
Okay.
On the right hand side here, I click on edit product licenses. And it says I currently have no licenses. Oh, wait, it popped up. It took less than 3 seconds for it to recognize I have new licenses. Now I'm going to put my location is the United States, and I am going to license my E5. Now you notice when I get E5, there's all the stuff that's in E5. So advanced security management, advanced e-discovery, customer lockbox, Dell Analytics, Cloud PBX, which we're going to talk to in a minute.
Yep.
PSTN conferencing, Power BI Pro, the Pro Plus, all the existing stuff that existed with Link Online or Skype for Business Online Plan 2. I come down here, replace for all the. Ooh, I want to go back to this. My bad. Come down here, replace. I've replaced all of this.
Nice.
I hit close. I look at this. All of my users now have E5 licenses.
So just that simply, you can go from a complete E3 deployment and instantly upgrade everybody to an E5 deployment. That literally took less than 5 minutes. That's phenomenal.
5 minutes? Really?
Less than.
Oh, okay, good. I was like, wow. Now, but there is still an element that they need to do here. And before we go and configure PSTN conferencing, I want to kind of touch on why we've touched a little bit on why PSTN conferencing is important. But one of the things that we want to make sure people realize is that when you take PSTN conferencing, you take online meetings, they're both great. They both do amazing things. But when you merge them together, it has an exponential effect, right? It's not just a 1+1, because what you're doing is you're now amplifying and I should say a multiplier effect, maybe not an exponential effect. It has a multiplier effect because now I can take people, as you were saying, and bring them into a meeting, right?
Right.
Or I can, in my case, here's a great example for me. I have a place I go on the weekends.
Mhm.
I have zero cell signal out there,
Okay.
like none.
Right.
But I have a good old fashioned landline.
Absolutely.
So what do? I pick up the phone and I dial into the conference that I have to be in.
Definitely.
Right? Now, the challenge is great. We can already do that, but everybody else is already in a Skype for Business meeting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So one of the other pieces to this for me is how do I get set up to be able to do online meetings and
So yeah. So this is just a kind of stepwise motion, right? So the first thing we did is we had our base tenant, again, just like the existing tenant that you may have out there, and we added the E5 trial. We started the clock for that 30-day trial of E5. That provided the kind of pool of licenses and had them available within the tenant. Then Sean went and just in that kind of one or two step process, just goes and replaces all of the E3 licenses that were signed to those users. Now they have all E5 licenses, right? So now they have the rights to use all of those capabilities within the tenant. Now we were at the point where we want to be able to configure uniquely all of those individual services, right?
Yep.
So we could go and we could configure advanced app protection, we go and configure Delve, we go and configure Cloud PBX, but you want to go and configure PSTN conferencing.
Because
Okay,
everybody in a company can use meetings.
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Like, not everybody needs a phone. I mean, that's a little bit different, but you figure we all walk around. I was going to look for my mobile, which is not here. We all walk around with mobile. A lot of companies are actually saying, I don't need to put a desk phone on every desk. Everybody doesn't need, but everybody does need to be able to group communicate. So let's do online meetings with PSTN conferencing. It's awesome.
Perfect. Okay.
So while you bring me over,
Absolutely.
I'm going to show people what I'm actually doing here because I think this is important. Now, the ability to configure the actual PSTN conferencing piece from Microsoft is you actually go into the Skype for Business Admin Center. And so it comes over here, it opens it up in a new tab for me, and voila, you can see I have 5 Skype for Business online users.
Perfect.
However, I also have 5 users in the cloud, which is great. But I don't have any configured for dial-in conferencing yet. However, I need to come over here and click on dial-in conferencing, and my Microsoft bridge is going to populate.
Okay, so this is really key. This is the list of all the different both shared and dedicated bridges that are available for your tenant. And so when you create the trial, we actually allocate these phone numbers specifically for you to use, and they're phone numbers from all around the world. Like you can see there, I can't actually read the screen of how far from how far away I am from Sean's laptop, but you can see like these are numbers from all over the world that we have now made available for your tenant to use to be able to dial in meetings. Again, this is for free. This is part of your trial, and this is all part of E5. One of the key things, I don't know if you remember when Sean was initially configuring the E5 services, right at the top, there's a drop down for country, and that actually controls the default country for the dial-in conferencing numbers.
Yep.
Right? So if Sean would have set UK as the default, or as his home country, then the default numbers that would have been provided for PSTN conferencing would have been from the UK.
Yeah.
But because he said the US, the default is from the US.
Yeah. So one of the questions that I've got though is, how many countries and how many cities are we in?
Oh, no, it's growing. It's literally growing daily. It's amazing that we have probably on the average of every week, we go out and we update a set of documentation that details not just what dial-in locations are there, but also where we provide toll-free calling as well. That's a whole nother set of capabilities that's in here, and where we offer the consumption billing as well. And so this is growing literally kind of every week, but it's like
90 and 300.
Yeah, no,
right?
it's
90 different countries,
crazy. Yeah.
And we're in 300 different city dialects. And so I wanted to show you, while we were talking, I actually did a change because I have a small company called Contoso, and it's based in Dallas. I want my default number to be based where I am. So I go in and I find the Dallas number. I now have gone over here and I set it as my default. That I can also set the languages, right? So if I want English to be there. So a great example is Brussels, right? So if I'm in Brussels, we want to be able to make sure that you have the ability to make English as your language, because the majority of people that actually dial in will actually speak English.
But actually bring up this dialogue, because I actually really like this this languages dialogue, because it really shows the power of what we're providing here with the PSTN conferencing, with the PSTN conferencing service. And of course, this is the one thing of the demo that we didn't actually test. And so, okay, so it may still be cooking a little bit, but the idea is that you can set not just the default language, but also the secondary, tertiary languages all the way down to like 6. So Brussels is a great example. Brussels, you're gonna have English, you're gonna have French, you're gonna have German, you're gonna have maybe Italian. You're gonna have a bunch of different languages that potentially folks are going to use to dial in here. You can have all of those available on the dial-in bridge.
Yeah.
Not just the default language, but you can also have subsequent languages that folks can use as well.
So now the key is we've set our default as Dallas. The key for us though is that we need to then make sure that all of our users have dial-in.
Perfect.
Oh, wait a second. They already have dial-in.
Nice.
Because we enable them for PSTN conferencing, and then we set up the default, all of these users are there. Now, a great example could be Eleanor, right? So Eleanor, she isn't in Dallas. She's in LA, right? So we want to be able for her to be able to change her number for her, right? Trying to figure out where to change her number. Edit. I'm like, I know I saw this. So I have the capability though to change her number so that she doesn't have to have an LA number.
Exactly.
Right. Or have a Dallas number. Let's say she has LA. Let's say she's in Chicago. Remember when we had Shelly on the team?
Sure.
Shelly was based in Chicago. So, in this case, Eleanor's in Chicago. We make her default there. Now, one of the things that I want you to explain is the toll free, because people in the trial will not have access to toll free.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So the way the toll free, and I just switched off of Sean's workstation for this first little part. So the way that the toll and the toll free numbers work is that with an invite that you send out, you can configure to have default number for toll, when those are the numbers that Sean was showing earlier, and then you can have a default for toll free. Toll free essentially means that the person who's calling isn't going to incur the cost of the call, but it's the person who's being called. So it's your tenant that's creating that's taking on the cost of that call. And toll free works differently literally everywhere around the world. And so there's all sorts of different telecom regulations and tax and different topics that need to be addressed depending upon where the toll-free number is located. And just like we have toll numbers all around the world, we have toll-free numbers all around the world. But the list isn't exactly 100% equivalent between the two because of the telecom regulations that you see in a whole variety of different countries. But essentially the way it works is that to configure toll-free, you first configure what's called a PSTN consumption billing account. And so essentially what this allows you to do is create a pool of funds, and then for everyone that dials in using that toll-free number, they decrement from that pool of funds.
So it's just, it's like your Starbucks card.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
You buy a cup and it takes it down by like what, $8 for a coffee or whatever.
That's right. And in this case, somebody dials into your meeting, using toll-free for an hour, and it takes 8 cents.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. We're not as expensive as coffee.
Yeah, no. Okay, so we've talked about how to enable the tenant. We've done the conferencing. One of the things
so just real quick, in the 30 minutes that we've been talking, there's probably been about 10 minutes of actual doing stuff. And so literally you can take 10 minutes now, go to your tenant, go and set up the E5 trial, be up and running with PSTN conferencing, and go and test it out and see for yourself exactly what it's like. This is incredibly powerful. Nobody else in the market does this. Literally nobody else.
So what you're saying is we're actually 33% productive because we talked for 66% of the time.
Well, we want to kind of tease out all these different pieces. Okay, so you want it. So do you want to? You're gonna give me a little bit of cloud PBX love. Is that what's happening next?
You're gonna get some cloud PBX love. I'm not gonna do a demo because we don't have the calling set up, but you did want to let people know what cloud PBX is and what specifically in the US, right, and the UK right now for PSTN calling.
Absolutely. So one of the great things as well that you get with E5 is this capability for cloud PBX, and it's essentially all the calling features that end users need and all of the capabilities for administrating and managing and reporting that administrators need available within Office 365. And what it does not include, though, is an actual path out to the public switch phone network. A lot of folks already have those circuits from their carriers, and so you can use those, or you can use the service from Microsoft. And so one of the cool things with the E5 trial, if you want, you can go and test out the Microsoft service by using a credit card. Here, we don't have a trial for this for everybody. If you're an enterprise customer and you've got an account manager, go and call up your account manager. They can hook you up with a kind of test setup here. But for everybody, what you can do is after you've created your E5 trial and you've got Cloud PBX, you can go and you can add on 1 or 2 licenses. Again, for domestic calling, it's $12 per user per month. It's pretty inexpensive. And go and check out what the calling experience is like. And so that is just because of the costs that are involved of actually running a telco service and the potential for fraud, we don't want to have it a completely open kind of trial environment, because we'd be shutting down a lot of people who would be doing stuff inappropriately. But regardless, tremendous facility to be able to try this out and to be able to check it out.
Yeah. So, well, we've had a quick conversation about PSTN conferencing and the trial and our broadcasts and showing some really cool stuff. One of the things I wanted to kind of follow up with, though, and as we're coming into the close, is the E5 trial. You just decided to start talking again.
Well, at least you know the broadcast is working.
Yeah, the broadcast is working. The one thing that we want to make sure that we convey as we're going through this, when we're talking about cloud PBX, PSTN calling, and PSTN conferencing, is just start with that meeting experience, right?
Yeah.
If you are currently using this for instant messaging as your instant messaging platform, then that's great. Take it to the next level, move it to online meetings. Right?
Absolutely.
And that PSTN conferencing, it's real easy to just to bolt that on. And if this trial will get you using it. One of the things that I suggest is once you've started this trial with your however many users you want to try it, use it and continue to see if you're actually seeing that people find it more productive. Because what we've seen even internally when I was in IT, when we enabled online meetings with PSTN conferencing, our PSTN conferencing went down and people joined via rich and mobile plans. And
so
the reason was because they can talk to people, see their expression on their face.
Right.
There's nothing worse than not getting the eye roll from your manager on the other end of the call. So, or from your business planner.
Yeah. So. Oh my goodness. No, that's absolutely spot on. The capabilities that you get with Skype for Business, online meetings, really is tremendous. And E5 just takes it to that extra level, including PSTN conferencing, and the ability to not just dial into your meetings, but to be able to dial out and be able to include folks that way. So we hope this has been a valuable kind of turn through. Definitely let us know.
And they can even let us know on the network, because you don't have to authenticate.
Oh, it's perfect. That's
because
right.
you can all you do, so the network, so aka.ms/SfB community. There's a single board there right now. There'll be multiples in the future. You can go in there, you can tag Jamie or I, Your
Don't
sign-in
hesitate.
is either with an MSA or org ID if you want to actually participate, or you can just actually just consume the information without authenticating. So,
Absolutely. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time and hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. We're going to be back in 2 weeks with
BTC Interop from Polycom. They're actually going to come. We think they might actually fly in and do the broadcast with us live here. And we're going to show, they're going to bring in, they're going to show BTC Interop with Skype for Business Online.
It's going to be fun. Don't want to miss it.
It's going to be amazing. And then the week after that, or the session after that,
is our 1 year anniversary.
It'll
be a day before we all leave for Ignite. For everybody that's coming out to Ignite, we're all going to be there. We're all doing a bunch of sessions. Can't wait to see everybody and hang out and have a good time. And so yeah, that's what we've got kind of up on the radar. So thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Sean Wilson, Jamie Stark.
All right. Thanks everybody.
Thanks.
Have a good one.